Welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 the lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. Tonight, we make our way out to the virtual Texas Motor Speedway to see what our competitors can do. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as it looks like right now qualifying is underway for these drivers. And we've got a few different folks out on track. There's Tom Massey in the number 62 Chevrolet. Now, very excited to see what's going to happen here tonight. Drivers have complained the track is very, very slippery. And we have 140 laps on the board here tonight. Should be about, if I'm doing my math right, should be about a 70-minute feature event. But the drivers talking about how slippery things are apprehensive about not getting a full green flag run here under the Texas sun. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Amasi didn't show a lap time last time by in that number 62 machine. We got Packman joining us in the spectator area cheering on the VLS drivers. Let's see what Amasi can do here as he makes his way around. That's going to be good enough for 18th with a 30.58. Robinson's out on track. He's trying to dethrone his teammate Tom Ogle, who just set a 30.09. So that's going to put Ogle in the top spot here in qualifying. And immediately dethroned by Josh Robinson, the teammate in the 23 300ths of a second. Looks like that's going to wrap up qualifying here today. And at the wire, Robinson taking over that top spot. Let's go ahead and run through the grid for today's main event. On pole, Josh Robinson. Tom Ogle starting second. Greg McDaniel starting third here today. We've got Brian Lynch starting fourth. Clint Rice starts fifth. Dan Hill starting sixth. Courtney Nelson starting seventh. Brian McCubbin starting eighth. Chris Bates starting ninth. Alan Wanamaker starting 10th. Michael Everhart starting 11th. We've got Jerry Isaacs starting 12th. Cycled on back to Mr. Lloyd Moore starting 13th. Robert Garisco starts 14th. Michael Watt starting 15th. Andy Thomas starting 16th. Wayne Hufford starts 17th. Al Turner starting 18th. Sean Foltz will start 19th. Tom Amasi starting 20th. Dustin Martinson starting 21st. Victor Lane starting 22nd. John Hinchcliffe starts 23rd. Joey Buscemi starting 24th. Cycling back one final time. Roger Hurley starting 25th. William Martin starts 26th. Brian Lindsay starts 27th. Bert Dirty Dodson starting 28th, and Gavin Adams will round out the 29-car grid here today. We've got Fletcher here cheered on the 74 machine. That's going to be Alan Wanamaker piloting that 74. We've got K Nice, I think is how you say that. Maybe just Nice. Join us in the spectator area. So let us know, fans out there, who you cheering on, who's the odds-on favorite to pick up a win here tonight. You've got those two Team Miata drivers on the front row. Robinson will be starting the inside line. The 23, Ogle up high. The White Claw back to 11. Second row is McDaniel and Lynch. Third row is Nelson and Hill. And the other question is, are we going to get that green flag run we're looking for this evening here at Texas? Safety car making its way down pit road, and we're ready to fire things off here at the Yesteryear Racing Cup Series. The green flag is out, and we are underway here at Texas. Oh, already a big run there from Courtney Nelson, giving a shot to Greg McDaniel's #1 machine. A little bit of aggressiveness to fire things off here today. A little uncharacteristic for these drivers as well, I should add. If we go a little bit further back, Dan Hill, #7 machine, loses a spot to Chris Bates in 81 right behind him. That's Everhart and McCubbin side by side for 8. Right behind them, Wanamaker and Isaac side by side for 10. So will the field be able to get into a groove here, click off some laps, or is it going to be elbows out for the duration of these 140 laps? As we hint at 3 wide, that's going to be Jerry Isaacs looking to the middle in the 51. Isaacs drops in front of Mr. Michael Watts, is right ahead of him, Alan Wanamaker. Brian McCubbin side by side. Second place, Tom Ogle clicks off a 30.41. That'll be the fastest lap of the race so far, but I have a feeling these lap times are going to continue to drop for the opening 15 laps or so, as drivers really get settled into a groove. Now, the two teammates, Robinson and Ogle, first and second, I don't think they're going to dice it up here early on. I think they're going to try and build up a gap over the rest of the field, just in case we get to a green flag stop situation. Now, something must have happened to Clint Rice in that #6 machine. I don't believe I saw Rice with a penalty. No, I was incorrect. Rice had an EOL penalty coming into tonight. So started at the back and has already crawled up to the 20th place spot. Turner and Martinson side by side for 17th. Turner down low to 76. Martin's running a little bit higher line in the 19. Dan Hill moves back up into P6 ahead of Bates in the 81. But still side-by-side racing just about everywhere we look. Already, you've got drivers such as Brian Lindsay, the #24. He has pulled himself up 9 positions from where he qualified here today. And he's got Clint Rice right in tow as well. We know Rice has great short-run pace out of that #6. As I say that, Rice makes the move against Lindsay. Jerry Isaacs sitting in the just inside the top 10. It gets down to a 30.33, the fastest lap of the race. But we're going to have a caution coming out here, as Dustin Martinson finds himself parked in a precarious position. Well, let's see what happened to that 19 machine. I look like he got a little bit of help there with the likes of Joey Buscemi. You got to replay it out once more here. Not sure if Martinson went down, Buscemi went up, but either way, Martinson definitely got the worst end of it there. The rest of the field doing a great job taking evasive maneuvers to avoid Martinson, who was parked in the middle of a hot track. So that's going to be our first caution of the night, 7 laps in. looks like Michael Watts in the 84, Clint Rice in the 6, Buscemi, Amasi, Martin, and of course Martinson are going to come down pit road during this cycle. The other 21 drivers that started this race are going to opt to stay out. Now, something happened. Gavin Adams, the number 30, was unfortunately, he did not start here. So drivers will have a little bit of time to collect themselves, get ready for the first restart of the night. Still going to be Ogle and Robinson on that front row. Second row is going to be McDaniel, and now Courtney Nelson join us in that 48. Third row will be Lynch and Hill. So we are gridded up, double file here once more at Texas. Should be lap 10 where we take the restart. Safety car leading our field of Titans down the backstretch here at Texas. See if we can get something pulled up with the that shows the track temps. Safety car's lights are off. We are ready to go here. It's Robinson and Ogle on the front row, waiting for that green flag to come out from Barney, our flag man. And we are green flag racing once more here at the YesterYear Racing Cup Series. I'm a little worried here. Cautions tend to breed cautions. I just saw somebody blinking inside that top 10. The car disappeared for a moment. Greg McDaniel looks hungry to get up front. He was briefly in a 3-wide situation. He's trying to get a nose in against Ogle, who's running the high side there, the number 11. Here comes McDaniel sliding up the inside of Ogle. Courtney Nelson sitting in 4th. Brian Lynch still sitting in 5th. And Ogle was able to keep the hammer down, moves that number 11 right back up into 2nd place. Right now, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Robinson, Ogle, McDaniel running exactly where they qualified. Our Charger still, Brian Lindsay, he's up 12 positions. A little bit further back, there's the battle for 20th as Watts and Rice were side by side. Rice trying to run up against the wall, Watts down low. As number 77 of Roger Hurley just ahead of them as well. Hurley running a very smooth, about 3/4 line up against the wall here. Looks like Brian McCubbin tried to get back around John Hinchcliffe, but Hinchcliffe is up 10 spots so far, the number 8 Chevrolet. And you can see he's reeling in Fultz and Hufford, who run 12th and 11th just ahead of Hinchcliffe here. Now the pace still fast as Ogle fits down to a 30.23 and he runs in 2nd place. got Mark Fish here. He's cheering on Mr. Ogle running second. Tucked in right behind Robinson's 23 machine. Courtney Nelson in fourth. Answers with the fastest lap of the race. Robert Garisco trying to pull up along the inside of Turner in that fast and all back 76. Garisco had to lift a little bit there. You can see the car tighten up and start to push wide. So we've got a bunch of packs all across the field. Drivers running nose to tail or just slightly side by side. And right as I say that, that's Watson, Thomas side by side. Moore and Rice were going side by side as well. Drivers really didn't think that tire management was going to be a massive factor with how slidey things are here at Texas. They were thinking it's going to be a bunch of abbreviated green flag runs with a healthy amount of cautions mixed in. But the longer we go, the better things always tend to look here at the OBRL series that we cover. Wanamaker and Huffer side by side for 10th. Right behind them, Sean Foltz trying to get a piece of the action, as well as John Hinchcliffe, Brian McCubbin, Brian Lindsay. There's a lot of drivers right here sitting just outside a top 10 position. Looks like Hufford made his way through clean there against Wanamaker. And now Foltz and Hinchcliffe are going to try and follow suit. Also, looks like some action was happening just inside the top 5. Your top 3, Robinson, Ogle, McDaniel, have gained about a half second over the rest of the field. And on your screen is Courtney Nelson, the 48. He's got Brian Lynch and Dan Hill tucked in right behind. So I'd imagine these drivers are going to play nicely and see if they can whittle away at that now 6/10 advantage that the top 3 drivers have. Looked like a little bit of mistake there from Nelson's going to open the door from Brian Lynch, who looks to the inside. And the Hooters back number 9. Dan Hill not quite sure who he wants to follow along with here. And it bears repeating, our Cup Series drivers only have a 7-point incident limit. So less than 2 car-to-car contacts is all it takes to send a driver home for the evening. So clean racing always at the forefront of these drivers' minds. I think that was Brian Lynch who had a big blink there in the 9. That is going to be a white knuckle moment for Dan Hill as we're on board the MXPX back number 7. Right in time as Lynch looks to the inside line against Nelson. You can see both cars kind of hopping around a little bit there. Nelson still shows ahead by a nose, but Brian Lynch gains a little bit of speed here through 1 and 2. Looks like Lynch might be able to make this pass stick if he can get a good run down the backstretch, but he has no draft support. Nelson has Hill and Bates tucked in right behind, but looks like Lynch might not even need the assistance as they are still door to door here, and that has slowed the pace down from 4th place back. Your top 3 drivers have pulled 1.7 seconds over the rest of the field. If we get a green flag run in pit cycle, and that is a big if here at Texas from what we saw in practice and qualifying, that could really set the top 3 drivers up for a very good position. Now, we think tonight the fuel window is going to open up around lap 60, close around lap 70 for these drivers. As Lynch and Nelson continue to run side by side here. like Nelson almost tagged the back of Brian Lynch, but Lynch is going to get clear. Now Dan Hill's going to try and take a shot at that number 48. Nelson now running 5th on track. And there's Bates and there's Isaacs as well. So a whole lot of talent coming up as it looks like Nelson got a little bit loose there, tags the wall. That may allow Dan Hill to slide right into the top 5. Yes, he does, as he drifts up in front of Nelson. Now, the lap times are definitely start to fall off here. 25 laps into this feature event. We've had 1 caution so far. And we're expecting that fuel window to open up right around lap 60. Again, closing around lap 70. Maybe, just maybe, we can get some green flag stops here at Texas. That is what the YesterYear OBRL drivers are known for, is good, clean racing and long green flag runs. Up front, your top 3 still Robinson, Ogle, McDaniel, exactly as they qualified here. And all the action so far has been from about 5th place back. Still have all 28 drivers who started this race still out on track. Nelson had closed the gap up there to Hill. Not sure if that 48 is going to try and make a pass back into 5th, or is he's going to save a little bit of tires and just kind of follow the proverbial leader, even though this is 4th place back. As your top 3 have pulled a 2.3 second advantage over the rest of the field. Hill and Nelson broke out there towards the bottom. Thought for a brief moment they're going to try and work together and track down Lynch. But I think that's just going to be a battle for 5th we're watching. Nelson, with that big moment, falls back to 9th. It looks like he's kind of fighting the tire wear already, and the drivers didn't really let us know, but it seems like as the run progresses, the tire's getting a little bit greasy, and the car is opting to slide around a little bit more. Wayne Hupper continues to charge the number 75. He's up 10 positions. John Hinchcliffe in 11th. He's up 12 spots. Now, I'm not sure what happened to Brian Lindsay, the number 24. He's only up 9 positions right now. He had a great run going earlier, but it seems like the momentum has stalled a little bit. We check in on your race leader, Josh Robinson. He has pulled about a 4/10 gap over his teammate, Ogle. McDaniel in the number 1 staying glued to the back of that number 11. And I'm getting a report of some more side-by-side shenanigans. There is Michael Titanium Everhart down low with Sean Foltz. Is that Foltz there in the 95? I think it is up on the high side. On board with Everhart. Yep, there's Foltz in the Ashley back 95. As it looks like they're starting to track down Nelson, who's going the wrong way on the leaderboard here. As everybody's tucked in behind a 9th place driver, John Hinchcliffe. Ryan McCubbin makes a pass against Robert Garisco. Garisco's going to try and fire back on the inside line. McCubbin doing a good job staying glued to the back of Garisco. As Michael Watts has made his way around Courtney Nelson's number 48. I wonder if Nelson's got some damage from where he drugged that right side against the wall. It is not too particularly hard to give yourself a little bit of suspension damage on a track that might already be a little bit tougher on tires. If you've got one of those wheels towed out wrong, it can prematurely cause tire wears. Now, there goes Brian McCubbin around Nelson. So Nelson's probably hoping for a caution here. If he can get a yellow flag, he'll have the opportunity to grab some fresh tires, hammer out any quick repairs he can. Oh, and we talked about it. Oh, we almost got it. Michael Watts had an off track. I think he got loose out of 4. Oh, yes, he did, and got a little bit of help there. Well done to Watts to be able to hold it together there. I wonder if that was maybe Robert Garisco. I think it was. Might have been tied up in that one, but Watts was already out of shape before Garisco gave him a tag. We were warned by race control tonight that the cars tend to get a little bit loose out of 4, and if you end up down on the grass, there is zero traction to be found through that infield. Looks like Garisco running still strong there, the number 28. Qualified P14, still 14th out on track. I saw another little, or heard another little impact against the wall. I think that might have been McCubbin in the 52. He is now currently down 11 spots from where he started. And if we go back right around that 6th place spot, there's still a ton of action as Wayne Hufford moves around Brian Lynch, taking over P6. Chris Bates, the number 81, he's going to try and follow suit here, as your top 3 continue to keep their heads down and getting away from the field. Robinson, Ogle, McDaniel have pulled about a 4.4 second gap over the rest of the field, and showing no signs of slowing down over this run. Ryan Lindsay, he's up 12 spots again, the number 24. He's just made his way around Wanamaker and Rice. And looks like they're very quickly catching up to Robert Garisco and Courtney Nelson. We're running 14th and 13th out on track. And Lindsay does not look to be... I take that back. He's making some moves here. I thought he was going to play it safe and follow along, but no, Lindsay throwing it in there, number 24. That's going to be his 13th spot gain as he pulls up the inside line against Robert Garisco. Lindsay and Garisco still side by side. Garisco is way up there against the wall through turns 1 and 2. Looked like he's got the slingshot going there as he pulls back up alongside Lindsay. So Garisco finding a line he is happy with as the tires start to really fall off. Right now, just about everybody out on track is a full second slower than their fastest lap of the race. And that's going to make it even tougher for some of these drivers to try and make any sort of big moves. A lot of smoke there out of turn 2. Not sure if that was Wanamaker. I think it may have been Garisco sliding around the 28, and this is a pretty tight pack. Right now you're watching 13th place Courtney Nelson. At the tail end of this pack is Alan Wanamaker and Joey Buscemi side by side. Oh, and a big check up there. Something happened to Garisco. I think Garisco and Buscemi just got disqualified. I think both drivers just got sent back home there. Couldn't quite see. Garisco had to check up a little bit. Buscemi gave him a tail tap, and that was all it took to send 2 drivers home. We talked about that 7-point incident limit and how quickly it is to be on the outside looking in here. And something's happening with Michael Watts. Is he coming down pit road for an undercut? Dustin Martinson, the number 19, also down pit road. Not quite sure what's going on here for Watts. Up front, Robinson's pulled a second over the rest of the field. Ogle and McDaniel still linked up nose to tail. And McDaniel is going to take back over the second place spot. Something is wrong here for Watts and Martinson. They've both been in their pits for over 20 seconds. I didn't see any big damage on that number 84 machine of Michael Watts, so I'm not quite sure what the story is there. John Hinchcliffe, the number 8, he's going to come down pit road. Now the field's starting to get a little bit spread out. 2 close drivers, though. Wayne Hufford, Jerry Isaacs running 5th and 6th. Hufford has been able to gain 12 positions so far here tonight. But it is still Brian Lindsay, that number 24, our hard charger, 13 spots gained. Now Hinchcliffe with a regular pit stop in and out of a stall in 14.5 seconds. It looks like Watts in the 84 has put it back behind the virtual wall. I think he is out of this one. Martinson remains in pit road in the number 19. Interesting. Ogle is going to come down pit road off strategy with his teammate Robinson. Robinson 1.3 seconds up over McDaniel. That's going to put Dan Hill in 3rd. Hufford and Isaacs now inside the top 5. Now, we are told the fuel window 60 to 70 laps, but I'm thinking maybe drivers are opting for tires at this point. Lynch and Everhart side by side for 7th. Well, a little bit of a blink there. I think that was from Lynch. Everhart's having a good run here. That's going to be his 4-spot gain in the number 17 machine. Looks like Sean Foltz is going to follow Everhart through here, passing Lynch in that number 9. So yeah, Everhart's in a great groove at this point. Ogle was in and out of a stall in just shy of 15 seconds with 4 fresh tires, a full tank of gas. Now, if the fuel numbers we heard tonight were correct, Ogle's still going to have one more stop to go to make it to the end on fuel. In theory, from what we heard from our drivers, it could possibly be a one-stop race, but that's going to take quite a bit of fuel saving. As Brian Lynch comes down pit road for his first pit stop of the night, there's Josh Robinson, your race leader, 2 seconds up over Greg McDaniel. And Robinson kind of out there in no man's land, the Micro Center back number 23. Historically, I would wager on Robinson not coming down pit road until there is a caution or that number 23 is just completely out of fuel. There's our hard charger, Brian Lindsay, with Alan Wanamaker in tow in the 74. Wanamaker trying the outside line against Lindsay here. Ooh, almost up into the wall, and that's a tough spot to be in because you want to tend to wrench the car back to the left, but also want to avoid initiating a slide, which we've already seen a couple times from different drivers out of turn 4 trying to put the traction down. Lindsay's going to come down pit road 54 laps in for his pit stop. Doesn't look like anybody else is going to follow him here. There's Dan Hill sitting in third, the number 7. With Wayne Hufford, the 75. This is a very good run from Hufford. I'm going to check, but I don't think we've seen that 75 up here on a podium so far this season. Hufford coming into tonight 11th in points. And I got a little bit of verification. Yes, Hufford's best finish was at Bristol March 17th, where he picked up a 6th. So if Hufford can keep the momentum up in that 75, as there's Dan Trashcan Hill down pit road, Hufford has a good chance of a first podium in the season if he can keep this momentum going. Dan Hill, Al Turner, John Hinchcliffe all down pit road. Your top 7 drivers have yet to come down pit road. I just saw Jerry Isaacs. I think that was Victor Lane. No, that was Tom Ogle trying to get a lap back here in the number 11. Ogle came down pit road on lap 47. Quite a bit of an undercut compared to the rest of the field. We've got a few different strategies at play. And we're confident up here in the booth. Everybody who has pitted so far. And oh, speaking of, Josh Robinson, your race leader. Down pit road. Greg McDaniel follows suit. Wayne Hufford stays out. He's going to get credit for a lap led here at Texas. So it is looking like a 2-stop race at a minimum for these drivers. And now it is your top 5. Hufford, Isaacs, Bates, Everhart, and Foltz, who still have yet to come down pit road. It looks like Lloyd Morrison in 6th. He came down pit road early on lap 7 during that caution. But I'm curious, how long is Hufford going to stay out for here in the 75? Clint Rice also just took his 2nd pit stop in the number 6 machine. So a little uncharacteristic to have drivers doing 2 stops so far. Now, Dustin Martinson, after being involved in that incident, number 19, did get back out on track, but he's going to be a whole lot of laps down. Brian McCubbin's down pit road for his first green flag stop. As there's Josh Robinson getting a lap back in the number 23 machine after his pit stop on lap 57. Now, without more cautions, I don't think anybody can make this a one-stop race here tonight. But we've seen some crazy fuel strategies play out in the past here at any of the Old Bastards racing leagues. As Hufford continues to enjoy the limelight as the race leader and hard charger of the evening, up 16 positions. and that number 75 Chevrolet. We got 8 laps left to go before we're at the halfway mark in today's main event. Jerry Isaac seems to be closing up behind in the 51. Hufford and Isaacs first and second. They've got about 1.3 seconds up over Chris Bates and Titanium Everhart running third and fourth. They're linked up nose to tail. Then another brief break in the action. Then you've got Foltz and Moore linked up fifth and sixth. Now Robinson, after that pit stop, clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 30.15. So he's put the new tires to use here. And there's that aforementioned battle for fifth as Foltz and Moore side by side here in Texas. Moore trying to make that pass stick. He's got a little bit fresher tires, 7-lap fresher tires than Foltz. So not a ton as we are 64 laps into this feature event. How long is Hufford going to stay out for, though? We had that one early caution that's going to add a little bit of fuel back to the drivers, allowing them to save under the yellow flag. But even if Hufford can make it to the halfway mark, lap 70, I'm not sure what the strategy might be, because I would think that a one-stop strategy would involve a late race caution to save fuel, but at that point, everybody's going to come down pit road and take tires. So I'm very interested to see how this one plays out here. Is Hufford doing a good job keeping the rest of the field at bay? Your top 4 drivers, Hufford, Isaacs, Bates, and Everhart, all have yet to come down pit road at all here today. So if I was a race engineer, I would want to see one of these drivers be able to hit a lap 75 or so to test if a one-stop strategy is viable. But the lap times are also going to be a factor. Hufford last time by a 31.65. And somebody such as Robinson, who came down pit road, just clicked off a 30.4 so over a second faster. Alan Wanamaker, he's down pit road for his first stop of the evening. And it seems like Hufford's just kind of cruising here. Here comes Dan Hale, the number 7. He's on the inside line of Isaacs, working his way through the lead pack to get back on the lead lap here. Everybody knows that a lot of different drivers are on different tire strategies, so not going to put anybody in a precarious position. As you can see, the new tires from Dan Hill, able to throw that car around at will. And just pick safe passes wherever you can find them. Halfway mark will be displayed next time by for Hufford with the cross green and white flags here at Texas. So we are officially at the halfway mark of today's main event, the YesterYear Racing Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. As it stands, it's Hufford, Isaacs, and Bates. 1, 2, 3. Everybody inside the top 4 is yet to come down pit road. And I guess one of the good positions, or one of the good things Hufford has about this position is all the lap traffic he has to worry about is really those coming around him as we watch Brian Lynch, the Hooters back number 9 Chevrolet. Sometimes it's a little bit more hair-raising to be the faster driver coming through the field, as now Hufford's going to signal he's coming down pit road after the halfway mark. Isaacs, Bates, and Everhart opt to stay out. Are they on a one-stop strategy here? Let's see, how long does Isaac stay out for? Isaac's down pit road. Chris Bates follows suit. Everhart stays out. He's going to get a lap lead here at Texas. And this will be Michael Everhart's first lap of the season led. The Premier Cup Series here at the OBRL. Looks like Everhart's going to come down pit road. And that's going to put Lloyd Moore as the race leader. So well done to Everhart, his first lap led of the season. Oh, sounding more tagged the wall a little bit there. Now, Moore has not led a lap here since back in February at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we watch number 26 machine come down pit road. So that's going to put Robinson back as your race leader. Ogle showing second, McDaniel in third, so not much has changed there in the top three. As you've got 3 drivers out on track right now, I think that may have a chance of making this a one-stop race. That is Wayne Hufford now back in 10th. Jerry Isaacs back in 13th. And maybe Lloyd Moore, who's now showing 13th as Isaacs moves up the standings. Robinson 3 seconds up over his teammate Ogle. We got the report Dustin Martinson did have that damage that retired that number 19 on lap 56. If we go a little bit further back, Chris Bates makes a move against Brian McCubbin for the 13th position. As it looks like Ogle's getting pressure from Greg McDaniel. William Martin, the number 94, he's down pit road. Good to see the drivers hanging out in the spectator area. Hate to see it when they've had a rough night. Tom Amasi down pit road, the number 62 machine. So let's take a look. Hard Charger right now shows is Roger Hurley. The 77 Toyota is up 17 spots from where he originally started. Started back in P25, has worked his way up into 8th. Hurley's last pit stop was on lap 15, so about an undercut. So based on the pit stops we've seen, we're thinking that pit road's going to get mighty busy around lap 100 to 120, except for those 2-3 drivers who are going to try and make this a one-stop race, I think is the strategy from them. And that strategy would immediately be undone if we do have some sort of mid to late race caution. We are in the back half of today's main event. Something happened. Al Turner takes a tow down pit road. Didn't quite see what happened to Turner there. So far, no incidents. Oh, drags the wall a little bit. But still nothing too terribly bad there for Turner. So what happened? It looks like he just pulls over and says, all right, I've had enough. Yeah, it looks like Turner just decided no more. Chris Bates trying to fend off that hard charger, Roger Hurley. Bates made that pass during our instant replay. And now Hurley trying to get the momentum back up, but Bates has about 22 lap fresher tires underneath him here. So a whole lot of different strategies at play here in Texas. There's Brian McCubbin, Lloyd Moore, Brian Lindsay, all battling for the 14th place position. McCubbin and Lindsay side by side. McCubbin down low, Lindsay up high. Looks like Lindsay's going to take back over. No, I spoke too soon as McCubbin fires right back through 3 and 4. Looked like Lindsay had it there. Now let's check back in on Mr. Josh Robinson, your race leader, having a dominant run. Only 9 drivers on the lead lap at this point. But I'm keeping an eye out on 7th, 8th, and 9th place. Wayne Hufford, Jerry Isaacs, Chris Bates. They may be on a one-stop strategy here tonight. And right as I say that, Fish thinking, hey, I think Hufford might be the choice here. Gonna be interesting. Hufford right now about 22.5 seconds back from the race leaders. But that's the other big question. In a night that was expected to have a bunch of cautions, we've only had 1 so far. Can we go the rest of the way with clean green flag racing? That is going to be the question, especially if you're piloting the 75 like Hufford is. Gotta love watching the race strategy play out for these drivers. I mean, they're all fantastic out on track, but for me as a broadcaster, it's cool to see what they can do with a little bit of napkin math to try and figure things out as the situation is constantly changing here during a race. Looks like I think that's Sean Foltz, the number 95 Ford Mustang, getting ready to get a lap back from Robinson. Robertson's been on these sets of tires for over 30 laps so far. 50 laps left to go in today's feature event. And there we go. Fultz looks like he's going to get that lap back. Now, with some of the fans thinking, you know, and some of the drivers thinking this is going to be a one-stop race, it's definitely the majority of the field setting themselves up for a 2, if not 3-stop run. It seems like the tire wear very aggressive here under the Texas sun, as we do have 10 drivers on the lead lap. Robinson a 5, almost 6-second advantage over McDaniel, who runs in second. And I think I just saw... that is Michael Everhart and Alan Wanamaker battling for the 11th place spot. They don't want to battle too much, though. That's Robinson right ahead of them, so they might be able to get back on the lead lap here. Coming into tonight, Robinson was the dominant points leader. Tom Ogle was second in points. And Dan Hill third in points. But I wonder, how are things going to go today? Can we see a dark horse pick up a win here at the OBRL Sunday Night Series, sponsored by YesterYear Racing? Right now, Robinson on a 3-win streak. We are 8 races completed so far this season, and we've only had 3 different winners. Robinson has picked up 5 wins thus far this season. Tom Ogle, the number 11 machine, he's picked up 2 wins. And Mr. Clint Rice, who pilots the number 6, he picked up that season opener win at Daytona. Now, next week we go to Talladega Super Speedway, where I think it is anybody's guess who can pick up a win there, as everybody's going to be playing the draft lottery, as I like to call it. Sometimes Talladega is good to the drivers, and sometimes you are caught up in the big one. So next week is going to be quite interesting. And I would not be surprised for a full 43-car grid next week at Talladega as well. The Super Speedway drawing drivers out of the woodwork. Robinson, McDaniel, Ogle make up the top 3. Hill and Rice, your top 5. Fultz and Everhart were able to get on the lead lap, still staying within about a quarter of a second of each other. And it also looks like Jerry Isaacs and Chris Bates linked up. Roger Hurley, Brian Lindsay running 15th and 16th. They're going to come down pit road together for their second stops of the race. That should put them good on fuel to make it till the end here. Robinson just clicking off laps, having a nice, easy time here at Texas. So now with drivers initiating these second stops, we know those drivers will be good to go on fuel till the end. And there's going to be a lot of drivers out on track with different tire strategies, different pace, different abilities. As it looks like Robinson's actually catching up to some traffic here. I wonder, I think that's Everhart just ahead of him there. So Robinson's got to be very careful here as he's navigating traffic, doesn't want to get caught up in somebody else's possible misfortune, possible incidents. And I think Everhart's going to fight very hard here to stay on the lead lap. As Sean Foltz, number 95 machine, not too far ahead as well. Now, not all would be lost for Everhart. That would put him in lucky dog contention if we do have a caution. He would get the wave around. Everhart going wide to allow Robinson the inside line, trying to help facilitate that pass, but looks like the outside line, especially as the tires are very worn down, really allow better momentum. Now Ogle, the number 11, second place in points. He's going to come down pit road for his second and final planned stop of the evening. Now, if we have a late race caution, I imagine just about everybody's going to come down pit road and grab 4 fresh tires underneath them. Well, that's going to put Hufford back up into 5th, up 12 spots. Hufford is on what we think is a one-stop strategy. He's showing about 21 seconds back from race leader Robinson. I think on paper, when Robinson comes down pit road, that's going to be enough for Hufford to take over the race lead, but it's going to be a question of how much fuel does Hufford have? Can he possibly stretch it to the end? Greg McDaniel in second. He's down pit road. How long is Robinson going to stay out for? His last pit stop was on lap 57. If Robinson stays on strategy, that puts his next pit stop on lap 115. And I wonder, with the lap traffic right ahead of that 23, if that is going to opt him into making an earlier decision coming down pit road, changing up the strategy just a little bit. Greg McDaniel, Brian Lynch, they're now on pit road. Everybody inside the top 3, Robinson, Hill, Rice, came in either on lap 57 or lap 55. Hill, a little bit different strategy. He came down 2 laps earlier than the other 2 drivers in the top 3. And right now, Robinson seems content, just clicking off laps and cruising in the 23, but we're fairly positive Robinson does not have enough fuel to go to the end here, so we're going to see at least one more stop out of that 23, depending on how the cautions are going to come out, if they're going to come out. Rice, the number 6, he's down pit road for what should be his final time. So that's going to make it Robinson, Hill, Hufford, 1, 2, 3. And there's Robinson down pit road, so let's keep an eye out. There's Dan Hill, the number 7 machine. He was about 16 seconds back from Robinson. Hill's going to come down pit road. Pan it over, there's Wayne Hufford. Will take over the race lead here on lap 106. Ogle back in 11th. Just clicked off the fastest lap, a 30.11. So let's see how far ahead Hufford is here from Robinson after this pit stop is completed. Robinson a little bit longer pit than normal, 15 seconds flat for the 23. I'm showing Robinson 19 seconds back from the race leader. So I believe Robinson's on a 4-tire stop here, as we've got 33 laps left. So Robinson, from now until the end of the race, needs to be about 0.6 seconds or faster a lap than Wayne Hufford. McDaniel, after his lap 102 pit stop, clicks off a 29.96, the fastest lap of the race. The first driver tonight to get down into the 29. So McDaniel is ripping here. Robinson, his first timed lap after the pit stop, sets a personal best of 30.15. 1.2-ish seconds faster than Wayne Hufford. In theory, depending on the tire fall off, Robinson should have the pace to at least be a contender at the tail end of tonight's main event. Burt Dirty Dodson, he's down pit road for his final stop. Chris Bates has made his way around Jerry Isaacs for second. Now Hufford came down pit road lap 71. Bates and Isaacs lap 72. You've got Everhart, his pit stop in fourth place, 73. Fultz in fifth was a lap 72. Moore in sixth position was a lap 74 pit stop. Robinson increasing his times, a 30-second flat. Hasn't quite beat the track record set by himself. That was a 29.777. Hufford still out front, but Robinson has closed the gap to 14 seconds back from the race leader. And Robinson is ripping right now in the 23. Let's pan back to Robinson. There we go as he sits in seventh. And the Ford Mustang, he's got a little bit going on ahead of him. That's Lloyd Moore in the number 26 just ahead. But Robinson, hands down, has the freshest tires inside the top 10 as he makes quick work against Mr. Lloyd Moore. And now Robinson only 11 seconds back from race leader Hufford. Unless Robinson prematurely uses up all the tires, he could very well have the pace to still be in this thing by the end of it. Because everybody in front of Robinson right now focusing on saving both fuel and tires to make it till the end. We've got just over 35 laps left to go. Excuse me, 25 laps left to go. Here's Robinson. He's got Fultz and Everhart just ahead. And that is what new tires can get you. Robinson puts it down along the apron, still able to carry great corner speed. Robinson back up into fourth. Now only 9 seconds back from Hufford. Oh, I thought Hufford was on a winning strategy right now, but looks like Robinson able to just absolutely hammer down and abuse those new tires he's got underneath them. Robinson consistently running a second faster a lap than your race leader. And now only an 8-second advantage for Hufford. So that means Robinson, unless the tires drop off a cliff, is going to catch up in the next 7 to 8 laps. Hufford's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him, trying to keep that dirty air off the front of the 75. Hufford, your race leader, also our hard charger here tonight. Up 16 positions. Robinson's closed it to 6.3 behind the race leader. Robinson paid for all the tires. He's going to use all the tires. As now Robinson starting to catch up to Chris Bates, the number 81 machine. There's Bates, the green, yellow, and white 81 Toyota running second. You've got to wonder at this point, is Hufford maybe hoping for a caution, seeing the strategy getting dwindled away so quickly by the likes of Robinson, who's putting the pressure on Bates here. Robinson's going to go the inside line through 3 and 4, I think, using those fresh tires to his advantage. And there we go. Robinson up into second. Trying to track down the 5.2 second advantage that Hufford has. Robinson only a half second faster than Hufford that time by, but with 22 laps left to go, and Robinson knows he's got fuel to go till the end. I think he's going to give himself a little bit of a break here and not hammer down just quite as hard. So we had a few spattering of drivers trying to make it a one-stop race, and now with 21 laps left to go, we're seeing who had the best strategies out on track here. I personally thought the one-stop strategy call was a fantastic decision, but it seems like the fresh tires at Texas just cannot be beat, as we've clicked it over. 20 laps left to go here at the YesterYear Racing Cup Series. Hufford still holds a 3-second advantage, but Robinson closing the gap behind, consistently a half second to a second a lap faster. At this rate, when Robinson catches up to Hufford, Hufford's not going to have anything for him here, as Hufford has been out on his tires for 50 laps so far. Now it's less than 20 laps left to go. Looks like we have some racing going around 6th place. Greg McDaniel, Sean Foltz side by side. Just ahead of them is Michael Everhart, as well as Jerry Isaacs. I just got a report. Wayne Hufford can see Robinson in the rearview mirror. I saw a kick up of dust there. That may have been Victor Lane pushing a little bit wide, meeting our old friend safety barrier. There's Hufford with old-time friend Josh Robinson closing the gap rather quickly. Robinson's going to look to the inside line through 3 and 4. And Robinson easily takes over the race lead from Hufford. Now, still not a bad night here for Hufford. He's got Chris Bates behind him in 3rd, who's on the same strategy, but behind Bates, you've got a lot of drivers with fresher tires. There's Greg McDaniel in 4th. His last pit stop was lap 102. Then you've got 3 drivers all around that lap 70 pit stop: Isaacs, Everhart, Foltz, and back in 8th is Tom Ogle's number 11 machine. McDaniel moves up into 3rd against Bates. $14 laps left to go. Hufford wants to hold on to a podium here tonight. That would be Hufford's first podium of the season. McDaniel, that number 1 machine, trying to keep things going. He qualified third, wants to keep it in third. Chris Bates, the number 81, he's hungry for a podium as well, but seems to be falling back from McDaniel. We'll get a little bit further back. Looks like Ogle has just made a pass on Everhart for 7th. Ogle, one of those drivers who came down pit road on lap 100, a 2-stop race. If he's looking for a podium, there's not a ton of time here. 12 laps left to go. Ogle is 11 seconds back, a little bit shy of 11 seconds back from his teammate Robinson. Next time by, Robinson's going to have it tick over. 10 laps left to go here at Texas. We still have 22 drivers of our 28 that started tonight still out on track. Ogle tucked in behind Fulton Isaacs here. Might be able to grab a 2-for-1. Both drivers in front of him. 28 lap older tires than what Ogle has under that White Claw back machine. Ogle pulls up along the inside line against Fultz. Looks like he's going to make it clear. What about Jerry Isaacs to 51? He's trying to hold on to a P5. 9 laps left to go here at Texas. I want to look as well. I don't think we've had Greg McDaniel on a podium. I'm going to check on that. As you can hear, I clicked something wrong up here in the booth. So it was March 10th, the last time we had Greg McDaniel with a podium finish. That was a 3rd place at Phoenix. McDaniel started 34th and was able to crawl his way through a whole lot of drivers there. Ogle's worked his way up into a top 5, but it looks like a podium's going to be out of reach for that number 11 machine unless he can really hammer down here. Robinson's made it, so there's only 11 drivers on the lead lap here for today's main event. And we were apprehensive that the two-stop strategy was not going to be the right call, but Robinson proving us wrong up here in the broadcast booth, as it's Robinson, Hufford, McDaniel, 1, 2, 3, Bates and Ogle rounding out our top 5. Six laps left to go here. Still racing going on. You've got Isaacs, Fultz, and Everhart. 6th, 7th, and 8th, separated by about a second between the 3. Isaacs working the inside line against Fultz. William Martin's coming down late in the race, that 94 machine for a pit stop. Wonder if he found himself short on fuel here, and I guess that's a question as well. Is Hufford in 2nd, Bates in 4th, as well as Isaacs, Fultz, Everhart, and more. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Are they going to be good to go on fuel here as we're 4 laps left to go? We get ready to make it 3 laps left to go here at Texas. Ogle has caught up to the back of Chris Bates. That's going to be the battle for 4th. Ogle wasn't quite able to string together the night he was looking for, but at least going to maximize the avoiding losing too many points to his teammate Robinson, the current championship leader here. Two laps left to go here at Texas. It's Robinson, Hufford, McDaniel. 1, 2, 3. McDaniel 3.5 seconds up over Tom Ogle. He's looking good here to get his second podium of the season. Hufford looking to get his first podium of the season. Meanwhile, Robinson trying to make it 4 in a row here at Texas. White flag is out here at the YesterYear Cup Series. And Robinson just in a class of his own. 4.5 seconds up over everybody else out on track, as he makes his way down the back stretch for the final time. We got a report as well. Victor Lane unfortunately lost power to his house, so he will not get to see Robinson pick up the dominating win here at Texas. Wayne Hufford in second, and Greg McDaniel rounding out the top three. Now, I'm surprised. I thought Wayne Hufford was going to be live on Twitch right now, but doesn't seem to be the case, as there's our winners photos. A great run for the top three drivers. And Robinson's going to burn it down here at Texas. So we are going to wait to get our top three drivers up here to victory lane, as Robinson, an extremely well-deserved burnout. And Robinson absolutely put on a smoke show. Easy to do with how hot the track temps are here tonight. Looks like we're starting to get our drivers up here to victory lane. So we'll start things off with Mr. Greg McDaniel joining us from the third place spot. Greg, you've had a podium on a rough night and you've had a podium on a great night now. Which one do you prefer?
I like the long green flag runs, so I would prefer to, I don't know, I think my pit stops are a little better than more people than my driving is, so I like it when the I like it when the races go long and don't have too many cautions.
Now, Greg, every driver I talked to here tonight was thinking, well, fuel runs are going to be out the window. We're going to have cautions. It's going to be a short run kind of night, but you guys quickly threw that out the window after the first caution. And at what point in the race did you think, man, we might actually have some green flag stops?
I don't know. The first run, my teammates said it was just two guys that got together. I didn't see a lot of people. I don't know. Practice went better than usual, so that's usually a good indicator. But I don't know. Everybody did a good job tonight, and I tried to save fuel during that first caution, and I could make it to 70, but I wasn't going to make the second 70, and so that's pretty impressive, because I don't know if you realized Wayne, who you'll be talking to in a second, he only stopped once, and Josh and I stopped twice. So Wayne ran out of fuel after we took the photograph, and he got going again. So that's how close it was for him. So nice job by him tonight too. So strategies got to play into it tonight. So I like these races better.
Yeah, I mean that's the epitome of OBRO races in a nutshell, is the on and off track strategies. And Greg, I didn't get to talk to you at Phoenix. I think that was the show Gareth was covering. But tell me about the new sponsor this season for 2024 and the Cartoon Network back Chevrolet.
Well, I've run this before in open lobbies, and I've run it in our ARCA series on Monday nights for a while, and I've always been a big Flintstones fan. So watched a lot of Flintstones when I was going to college and younger than that, and still enjoy watching them from time to time now. So yeah, that's the story on that car.
Well, a man of taste. Greg, great having you back up here in the top three. Second time this season. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen for you and that number one machine?
Well, I want to thank all my teammates on Last Ditch Racing. We didn't have the greatest of nights tonight. I wasn't expecting to do this well, so that turned out to be a pleasant surprise. All the admins in the league that do a good job running it, Victor for stepping in and taking over, and all the admins that do a good job. All the racers that were here tonight, you guys did a fantastic job. So compliments to you guys. Our league sponsors, Top Flight Computers, Victory Lane Sports, Butt Kicker, and YesterYear Racing. And finally, hello to my friend Dave, if you're watching tonight. Thanks for your support, and my girlfriend Sharon for letting me do this.
Awesome.
And you guys for broadcasting. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. Always super cool having you up here. Hopefully the momentum continues. And again, congratulations on a very clean and well-earned third place.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, buddy.
You as well, sir. That was Greg McDaniel bringing it home. And third up next, first-time caller this season. Welcome, Wayne Hufford, to the top three. A great run in second and a pretty cool fuel strategy we're keeping track of.
Thanks, buddy. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. It's good to have you back up here. I even checked the notes. I was like, I think this is the first podium I've seen you up here, and seemed like it worked. And so tell me about the fuel strategy tonight, because, I mean, that was a gutsy play for you in that 75 machine.
You're right. It is the first podium in this series. Actually, when we got to about lap 40, 45, somewhere in that neighborhood, Ogle said something about being close to pitting time. And I said to my team, I'm missing something, because I had it as a one stop the whole way. I had it as 70 laps and might need to save a little bit, but I had it as one stop. So I was a little surprised that people pitted as many people pitted twice as they did.
Yeah, there was 4 or 5 of you guys, I think, from my perspective, that stuck to the one-stop strategy. And late in the race, when you saw some of the other guys starting to close the gap on that were on a two-stop strategy, were you hoping for a caution late in the run, or were you pretty optimistic your strategy was still going to get you on the podium?
We're at Robinson Motor Speedway, so I knew he was going to get me. But I was paying attention to the numbers and everything, and I felt like he's going to get me, but nobody else is. So I didn't want to caution, and I didn't have short run speed here anyway, so I really didn't want to caution.
Well, it seemed like it worked out really well for you. Now, next week we go to Talladega. I'm afraid to even ask about strategy. Instead of strategy, is there a plan to keep the car safe until the end?
Well, I mean, the strategy at Talladega is watch what happened to Bobby Allison in 1987 and don't do that.
Oh, fair enough.
My strategy is typically to try to get towards the front, because if you're in the middle of the pack when there's a wreck, you're just flipping a coin whether you miss it or not, right? So, but there is skill involved in super speedway racing. I hate it when people say it's luck, but there's more variance because there's more chance of getting collected in something you have absolutely no chance of missing. So.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to it. I know the fans are, and I know the drivers are apprehensive, so that's going to be an interesting one. But Wayne, welcome to the podium, the first time this season for this series. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that's cheering you, the team, and that number 75 machine on?
Well, we're going to shout out Miniobi, the sponsor, of course. Nicest little 11-year-old girl you've ever seen. Mayo's probably in there with you. He's the crew chief when I stream, so Basically, I thought, what would Mayo tell me to do, and did that. So shout out to the rest of the Mischief, and then the boys in the team, the VLS team, Victor, Bates, Dustin, and XJ. Thanks for the support, guys, and we'll try and get talking to you a few more times here.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Wayne. A pleasure as always, bud, and congratulations on the season best so far.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
You as well, sir. That was Wayne Hufford joining us in the second place spot, Up next, we've got Mr. Josh Robinson. Welcome back, Josh. Making, I think that's 4 in a row at this point.
How's it going, James? I like Texas, or I think maybe more so Texas likes me for some reason. I don't know why.
Back-to-back times in Texas, Coda and now Texas Motor Speedway picking up a win in dominant fashion. But so early on this race, we saw, a handful of drivers opt for a one-stop strategy. Were you worried that the two-stop strategy was going to kind of bite you in the rear at all tonight?
Absolutely. When I seen how many people were staying out and trying the one stopper after we had that early caution, I thought surely they knew something that I just completely forgot to think about. And the good thing for us is we could run a little bit way harder than them. We didn't have to save anything, so we were able to make up a lot of that time. But props to all those guys that made it, with Hufford and Bates and Foltz, and I think Titanium made it. Lloyd made it. Like that's really good work on that. That's hard to do, to run that good of a pace while still saving fuel. So props to those guys for being able to do that.
Yeah, and it seemed like the tire wear was a little bit more aggressive than I was personally expecting here tonight. Towards the end of the run, you guys were over a second off the pace, and it was already a tough track to drive from what everybody told me in practice and qualifying. So how was it at the tail end of a tire run when the car is a little bit more freed up and loose to hold on to it?
So your entry into one, late in the run, you would start to push a little bit, so you just had to kind of back it up a little bit, and you'd be okay. But probably the sketchiest part of the whole track late in the run was coming off a turn 2. If you did not respect that rear tire wearing out, it would get you. And I did it a couple times. I seen quite a few guys get a little loose off of 2. 3 and 4 wasn't too bad throughout the duration of the run, because you can carry so much speed that the RPM delta didn't seem to hurt you on old tires.
Well, good to have you up here. A clean race car, another dominant win, a perfect night. I don't think you broke the fastest lap of the race, but man, you got darn close to it and still led just about everything. So, Josh, congratulations, extending that points lead, making it 4 in a row here at the YesterYear Cup Series. And you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen here?
Thanks, James. Give a shout out to YesterYear Racing for putting this lead sponsor for the Cup Series this season. Shout out to all the league admins for the work they put in throughout the week to make sure we can have a nice place to run. Shout out to Victor for keeping the league going as well. And shout out to everybody that came out, because pretty good car count as we're getting deep into the season here. I know it's not too deep, but we're deep into an iRacing season. And then as it's warming up, we got to fight the summer blues of people wanting to go outside and hang out outside as opposed to being on here. So shout out to everybody that came, and as always, thanks to everyone over at Team Miata. We always bounce ideas off of each other during practice, and that is super helpful.
Well, you guys are pretty okay over there at that team. Josh, congratulations again on the win, and hope to have you back up here after the shenanigans that will follow at Talladega.
Appreciate it, James. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. That was Mr. Josh Robinson bringing it home in the first place. He was accompanied by Mr. Wayne Hufford, his first podium of the season. And then we had Mr. Greg McDaniel bringing it home in third, his second podium of the season. On behalf of the YesterYear Racing Cup Series, Victory Lane Sports, Butt Kicker, Top Flight Computers, and of course the Old Bastards Racing League. My name has been James Eastwood, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.